You are listening to the Celtics Roundtable Podcast, part of the CLNS Radio Network. I'm Jonathan Ignall. With me, as always, we have my brother Matt and Evan Valenti. Tonight, the Boston Celtics take on the Cleveland Cavaliers in a showdown for first place. Everybody knows the Cavs have been terrible since the All-Star break, while the 50-win Celtics have been red hot. Cleveland's defense has been atrocious. However, the team's made it clear that they don't really care about getting first place. Matt, I'll toss this one to you. Are the Cavs struggling because they really don't care about playoff seeding and are just coasting for the playoffs, or is there something deeper to their late season woes?
Well, how about their personnel? Everybody's been injured or coming back from injury, and it's not like they have a great defensive lineup to begin with. I want to know why Tristan Thompson, though, is struggling so much. Is he under too much of a minutes burden? I expect LeBron to not bring it defensively in the season, but I don't think this is a team that's really built for defense. I think they're kind of built for the playoffs, and they're built around offense. So, obviously getting J.R. Smith back healthy, we'll see if that's still up in the air. Kevin Love, as he continues to return from injury, I expect them to improve a little bit defensively. Yeah, the Celtics are going to have to score plenty of points because I'm thinking that, and we'll know for sure pretty soon, but I'm thinking that Jay Crowder is not going to play based off his comments on Wednesday. And he's huge for the Celtics defensively, particularly in this game guarding LeBron. So, yeah, the Celtics are going to have to put up a lot of points and probably outscore the Cavaliers. Am I on the right track here?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, they've been injured, I think, since Christmas. They haven't really played together, and they got a bunch of new guys. And the defense, I think it's personnel, like you said. Korver's, they got a bunch of old dudes. Korver's 36, Channing Frye's 33, Darren Williams is 32, but has the bone density of a 51-year-old. Richard Jefferson's 36, and I gotta say, he looks great for 36 because he hasn't aged a day since he's come into this league. I don't know if it's because he's bald or what, but shout out Richard Jefferson because he's doing something right. I actually thought he would be out of the league in 2013. And anyway, what I'm saying is these dudes are old and slow, and in this NBA with the pace and space and the ball whips around the court, it's really hard to rotate and recover on D. So the way the Celtics swing the ball, I think that would be a huge advantage. Evan, what do you think?
Well, I just think the bench for them is just such a drop off from the guys they have in their starting lineup to the guys on the bench. And I think when you make these guys play defense, for the entire 48 minutes of the game, and it's tough to do that, but if you make them play defense and you swing the ball a lot, you move the ball around, take quick possessions when you have the opportunity, but that when you can slow it down in the half court, you really just make them defend for all 24 seconds. They're going to get tired. They're tired right now. They're, like Matthew said, they're a playoff team. They're playoff tested, and I think they're definitely a team that if they take the foot off the gas pedal, I still think people should worry about it. I mean, there are real problems there defensively, and the way they've gotten picked apart by some Western Conference teams concerns me. But they still have LeBron James, and when LeBron's on the floor, he's better than everybody else. So the game tonight is going to be so interesting because if Jay Crowder can't go, I don't know what Boston does to counter LeBron. It's going to be almost impossible.
I think Jalen then would get the start, and he's done a good job on LeBron the minutes he's played him. But we know LeBron has that switch. At 32 years old, I'm still very much expecting him to be able to flip that switch in the playoffs. I don't think the Cavs. I mean, I'm sure the Cavs have this game circled, but they've had bigger games.
Evan said it on the last pod. This is the biggest game in the Brad Stevens era.
You think this is bigger than the playoff games last year?
Well,
it was bigger than Game 5 in Atlanta?
Regular season games.
Okay.
Obviously, the playoffs mean more. Why has Ty Lue not rested the stars as much as he probably should have? I mean, LeBron James, he's still leading the league in minutes?
It's close, if he isn't already.
An inexperienced coach being foolish. I want to know why this is the most important game.
This is going to lock up the 1 seed for them probably if they win this game, and that's
right.
the best it'll be the best they've ever finished in the history of the Brad Stevens era. This is a huge game for Boston. They need home court advantage.
I mean, I think another thing why it's big is Kyle Lowry has returned to practice and he's looking good, and Toronto's going to get him back. They're right now in the driver's seat for that 3rd seed, and I think the Celtics would very much like to avoid them. So maybe there's a little bit more incentive there to get that number 1 seed. Not that the Celtics are going to be eyeing Toronto and thinking about them on the court tomorrow night, but it's something that occurred to me.
We talked a little bit about the Celtics playoffs rotations. How do you think the Cavs will shift their rotations for the playoffs? Who will get trimmed out?
what does Shumpert do? And I just don't understand. Like, can he go out and check the best guard on the team all the time? Is that what his job is?
Well, he's been successful against Isaiah, but this hasn't been one of his better defensive seasons. Right now, among shooting guards, he's 37th in defensive real plus minus.
He had one series where he was successful against Isaiah Thomas. I think since that point, at least in the matchups this year, Isaiah Thomas has crushed him on Shumpert.
Yeah, you're right. I think that though he might have like some of the qualities that have bothered Isaiah. Shout out to
just a long guy.
Yeah, Kelly Oubre Jr., who has like a 7'2" wingspan or something like that, who's young and quick, and the whole Bucks team perhaps.
Yeah, they're tough.
Yeah, but you're right that Shumpert isn't defensively what he was. Matthew Dellavedova not being on the team has been a huge blow to them. And what are some other keys?
Well, look, this is an important game. I would. If you were to ask Brad Stevens, does this game really matter? Of course, it's going to matter. This is an important game. They need to prove to themselves that they are ready for the challenge of the playoffs. Because I know it's been an interesting 2 trips to the playoffs, but they haven't proven anything there. They won 2 games. Like, good for you. That's great. This is a huge game. They need to play their best basketball heading into the playoffs. And they're 8-2 in their last 10 games. They've played really well on both sides of the ball. There's been some offensive struggles, no doubt about it, and they've had some defensive lapses, but like the overall body of work is very solid. And to be a team because you're not getting a chance to play a lot of good teams the rest of the way. They still have to play Brooklyn once. They're going to play Milwaukee the game before the end of the season. But again, their schedule is relatively simple the rest of the way. This is a big challenge for them, and if they want to keep this momentum going, why not do it against maybe the best team in your conference?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough if the Cavs do play their players. I know they're injured, and they've been injured for a while, but the Celtics aren't exactly healthy. You mentioned Crowder probably won't play. I'm looking at Avery Bradley, who needs to be the guy to have a good game. I don't see the Celtics being able to have a chance in this one if Crowder doesn't go and Avery Bradley's not himself out there. So I'm looking to Avery. And, if those two aren't there, we're going to need some Kelly Olynyk, who you never know what you'll get. All right, guys, before we continue, I want to tell you a little bit about my favorite ticketing app. Maybe you've heard of it, the SeatGeek ticketing app. Yes, that's right, the SeatGeek ticketing app. As the Celtics playoff push heats up and you might want to maybe go to the Cleveland Cavaliers game tonight, there's still time. SeatGeek is the smartest and easiest way to get tickets to every game. With SeatGeek's seamless mobile experience, you can buy and sell tickets in just 2 taps. And it doesn't end with the Celtics or any other NBA game. SeatGeek also has plenty of concert, comedy, and theater tickets available too. And it's all fully guaranteed. Listeners to the CLNS radio can support this production and get a $20 rebate off their first SeatGeek purchase. Here's how. Download the free SeatGeek app, go to the settings tab and click add a promo code and enter promo code CELTSNEWS, all one word. And SeatGeek will send you $20 after you've made your first purchase. And it doesn't stop after your first purchase. You can always use SeatGeek. Download the free SeatGeek app and enter promo code CELTSNEWS today.
Bradley is like the ultimate Kyrie Irving defender. I don't know. Isaiah will probably get a lot of time on Irving because they'll need like Korver is always chased around by Smart. I think Brad Stevens is going to go that. Smart's been really successful.
Well, Korver's not playing tonight.
All right, what other keys you guys got?
Well, Isaiah having a solid game would be a plus. Just throwing it out there. But Al Horford has to be. We always look to Al as a guy that can be super versatile. And the last time they played the Cavaliers, I believe Al was really good in that game. I remember him having like 9, 11, and 10 in that game against Boston. This was like right after the All-Star break, and Horford had 9 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. And again, he doesn't have to totally score a dominating game, which I find it preferable, to be honest with you. But another solid game from Al where he can kind of be that Swiss Army knife at 6'10", where he can stretch the floor and find cutters and hit a couple open jump shots out of pick and roll and rebound effectively and protect the rim. Like, he's such a valuable asset for them, and him having a great game is a huge key for Boston. He's been really good the second half of the year. I've been really happy with his play.
And he hasn't been great historically against the Cavs. He was very good in that last game with that near triple-double, as you mentioned. But, the game before that, he had 6 points, just 1 rebound. And I'm sure we ripped him on here for it. You could go back in the archives to confirm it. But he did not play well against Cleveland in the playoffs last year as a member of Atlanta, and he hasn't done well historically against the Cavs. Last year, like his rebounding total was pitiful. I'm going to be watching Al Horford tight too to see, how much passion he plays with, how much he goes after and goes and gets it. Because, yeah, it's sort of been a tale of two Horfords this year against the Cavs, and hopefully it's more like the March game and not the December one.
Yeah, just taking the temperature of the fan base. Do you feel like the fans respect Al Horford the amount he's deserved to be respected at this point? Because a couple months ago, the fan base was incredibly low on him.
Well, it's like the most vocal parts of the fan base are the ones who, are probably the same people who are overreacting, I imagine.
I mean, he's put in, since that Cavs game, he's played great basketball. Like, Al Horford's been a blast to watch. He does it really on both ends and affects the game in every aspect. So I think he's really silenced those critics.
We're going to remember the playoffs from this season. We're not going to remember most of these regular season games. I'm probably
going to remember Isaiah from the regular season games.
We'll remember Isaiah. We'll remember that shot against the Heat. We'll probably remember the two Phoenix games. And maybe this Cavs one too. Hopefully it's a doozy. But we're going to remember the playoffs. And that's how Al Horford is going to be judged on his first year in Boston and, his remaining years as a Celtic. How well did they perform in the playoffs? Does he step up when it really counts? And we'll see.
Yeah, but so I'm looking again. This would be a place I'd look for him to again continue that ascension.
Marcus Smart, he had a really good game against the Knicks. He needs to continue it. The defense isn't that much of a step up from the Knicks to the Cavs, so hopefully he can continue to build some momentum. We talked a lot yesterday about how him not really truly being like a primary NBA level playmaker, as he's more of like a secondary type of guy, has kind of hurt the Celtics' offensive production. But those problems, I think, a lot go away if he's having a hot shooting night.
He's going to have to be huge tonight, no question. Because here's my question for you: if Jay Crowder doesn't go, who's the best LeBron defender they have, Jalen or him?
Probably Jalen won.
Do you trust Jalen to do this again?
No,
I'd have a little bit more faith in throwing Marcus. I mean, I'm going to let Jaylen Brown cover LeBron. But
the thing,
I mean,
you always hear defenders say that LeBron does it like through brute strength and just from just getting to the rim. You kind of know what he's going to do most times, and you generally concede the jump shot. So there's always like a game plan against LeBron. So I think like the mental side of it isn't as daunting as it is for when he had to defend J.J. Redick, who he, by the way, did an excellent job sticking with.
Wait, did you just say guarding LeBron James is not as daunting as guarding J.J. Redick?
I tried to couch it in the right terms. I thought you
hoped a better way to. You got to find a better way to say that. I know
it's giving way too much credit to J.J. Redick.
Of a mental task. Of a mental task. I think like chasing him around screens is like one of the most difficult things, especially for a guy who is as big as Jalen. LeBron's not going to be doing that. LeBron's going to be attacking the pick and roll, and you kind of know where he's going to go. He still might get there. But, I mean, I imagine both Smart and Jalen are going to get plenty of time on LeBron.
Yeah, it's just going to be, if the game's in the line, I'd probably feel more comfortable with Marcus covering him than Jalen. But, we'll see. Marcus at least will have good instincts and might pick up an offensive foul down the stretch, which I'd be really excited about. So
that'll happen.
A lot of bigger guys can't back Marcus Smart down, but LeBron James can.
But he can do that to almost anybody. He would have backed Karnowski down last night or Monday night.
I don't know about that,
dude. I don't want to rag on Karnowski, man. I did a lot for that on Monday night. I did that too much.
That's got to be Chris Kamen's son, right?
That's good. At least like a cousin or something.
He's an excellent passer. I don't know if you guys picked that up.
Yeah, but he can't.
Not a great finisher.
Can't handle. Yeah, one of the worst. What a rough game that was. That was one of the worst games I've watched in a long time. 19 missed free throws. There was like a 4-minute stretch where neither team hit a field goal.
Carolina didn't deserve to win with that Final Four. Like missing every clutch free throw down the stretch. Like the basketball gods, where were you?
They gave us the Villanova UNC shot. All right, that'll do it for us here at your favorite Boston Celtics podcast, the CLNS Roundtable Podcast. We have some great guests coming on the show the next couple days, so stay tuned. But in the meantime, why don't you go follow us on Twitter and give us a 5-star review on iTunes. For Matthew Ignall and Evan Valenti, I'm Jonathan Ignall. We'll be back tomorrow morning.